And let's turn now to one of the so-called Big Four. That is Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. It is so good to have you at the Big Desk. I don't think we've gotten to talk yet at the Mackinac Conference.
We have not.
Yes.
And I love it. I'm glad to be here.
We're happy to have you. So I have to tell you, we have had dozens and dozens of conversations during the Mackinac Policy Conference, and I'm hearing some skepticism, maybe even pessimism about the state economy. But you've got some new data about Oakland's economy. Fill us in on what this University of Michigan research found.
You know, they found that, well, first of all, Oakland is not immune from the headwinds that are happening nationally and statewide, and we're always concerned about that. But the good news is Oakland County has typically been sort of the economic driver in Michigan, and we still are. Our employment levels are back to pre-COVID numbers. Our educational attainment is rising, so we have the talent in the county to attract companies. And so there's just a lot of good things going on. And even though there's still concern, I talk to business leaders all the time that are worried because they like predictability and they don't want to make big capital investments with all this tariff uncertainty. But despite that, we've still got a very robust economy, and Oakland County is doing well.
Well, so what are you telling them when they say, look, I'm concerned? Because that feels to be the undercurrents of the conference this year.
You know, I can only take care of the things that I can take care of,
Sure.
right? I don't know exactly what the president's tariff policies and other economic policies are going to be on any given day. But what I also hear from them is, we'd hire more people if there were more people with the skills that our company, our business needs. So when it comes to workforce development and training and getting our residents the education they need for these jobs of tomorrow, that's where we can shine. When it comes to housing, we hear a lot of workers can't afford to live in Oakland County anymore. So we've made major investments in affordable housing so that people that work in Oakland County can actually afford to live in Oakland County. So there's a role for us to play despite sort of the federal headwinds that are going on.
We've talked a lot about workforce development, not just at this conference, but for years, right? Like, how do you make sure that we are educating and getting folks in the pipeline for the jobs of the future? So what are those jobs looking like in Oakland County that people need to be prepared for, or that you're hearing from business going like, we need more of this, but we're not finding it?
They want more engineers. They want more software developers. The medical field, you know, our hospitals are crying out for more people to do all sorts of different jobs. And so we as a county and as a workforce department are always keeping our eye on what are the big in-demand jobs that pay well, and then how can we play a role in training them up for those jobs. I'll give you just a small example, but it's one of my favorites. I was meeting with the folks from Corwell a couple of years ago, and they said the people that sterilize the emergency room instrumentation, it's a skilled job. You have to have training. You don't just put those instruments in a dishwasher, right? We need thousands of those people. So we worked with our partners at Oakland Community College, taught a class in it, got people enrolled in it, and now they're going from, you know, maybe lower paying jobs to a high paying skilled job at Corwell doing the instrument sterilization. It's a small example, but it's always our role to try to connect people who want a better job and more training with the jobs that are out there.
Well, and I think sometimes when we're talking or focusing just on the problems, they can feel so huge and amorphous, but it's sometimes a good reminder that you can take sort of one bite out of the apple and actually make a difference. And if enough folks are doing that, it could actually add up to some real change.
It really is true. You can't be overwhelmed by the chaos and the negativity. Stay focused. And here's another great example I like. We're trying to grow our population, not only in Oakland County, but in Michigan.
We had Hillary Doe on the program, Population Council, the Chief Growth Officer.
So we got news just last week. The census does an annual estimation of population growth. And for the first time in, I think, 30 years or more, every single community in Oakland County grew their population. And we have 62 different cities, villages, townships. They're all very different. Every one of them grew their population. So if you want to look for, you can look for the negativity if you want, but if you want to look for the signs that we're starting to see some impact, we're starting to make a difference, those are the kind of things that get me excited.
Yeah. I want to talk to you very quickly about an interesting meeting that I heard you had with the Canadian Consul General, Colin Bird. I mean, we're talking right now about relationships here on Mackinac Island, but our relationship with our closest international neighbor, it's fraught right now. What was that meeting like? What did you take away?
Yeah, you call it interesting. It was disturbing to me. You know, they're really shocked by what they're hearing from their partners and their friends in America right now. I mean, not just the kind of the goofy stuff about, well, we're going to make you the 51st state and all that stuff, which is pretty insulting to our Canadian friends, but the tariffs and the economic policies that are coming out. And he reached out to me specifically because we have a lot of interrelated business with Canada. They're our number one trading partner. They're our closest friends just by our values and our economic outlook. And he said, I'm just going to tell you that we're looking to other countries to see if we need to find other friends.
Wow.
And it broke my heart to hear that because I grew up in this region, and Windsor is just like an extension of Detroit in so many ways. They're family.
Cousins.
And they are stunned and hurt that we're taking this kind of approach. And what I told them is, look, I can't tell the president what to do, but you have friends in Oakland County. We have this relationship on so many levels, and I want to maintain that to the extent that we can. And it was a tough conversation because they're really upset.
Dave Coulter, we're going to leave it there. I appreciate it, and we'll check back in, and see how things are going one day at a time. County Executive, Oakland County, appreciate the time as always.
Great.
Thanks
Thank you
so much.